Biography of Neil Armstrong. Chapter 1. Early Life. Neil Armstrong was born on August 5th, 1930 in Wapakoneta, Ohio, USA. His parents were Stephen and Viola Armstrong. Neil was the eldest of three siblings. From a young age, he was interested in flying and space. He loved to watch airplanes, and his passion for aviation started early. Neil's father often took him to air shows, and this inspired his dream to become a pilot. As a child, Neil was very curious and hard-working. He loved learning about science and technology. He was also good at school and loved reading books. Neil spent a lot of time building model airplanes and reading about flying. His interest in flight grew stronger as he got older, and he decided to pursue a career in aviation. Neil went to college at Purdue University to study aeronautical engineering. After finishing his studies, he joined the US Navy as a pilot. His time in the Navy gave him more flying experience and helped prepare him for his future career as an astronaut. Neil always worked hard and dreamed big, hoping one day to reach the stars. Chapter 2. Becoming a Pilot. After graduating from Purdue University, Neil Armstrong became a Navy pilot. He flew over 78 combat missions during the Korean War. His experience as a pilot in the Navy helped him build the skills he needed to become an astronaut. Neil was known for being calm under pressure and skilled in flying aircraft. His flying abilities made him stand out among other pilots. After the war, Neil continued to work as a test pilot. He tested many different types of aircraft, including some of the most advanced planes in the world. Neil became an expert in flying high-speed planes. His work as a test pilot earned him a reputation as one of the best pilots in the country. It was during this time that he was chosen to become an astronaut by NASA. Neil's background as a pilot was important in his selection for NASA's astronaut program. He was not only an excellent pilot, but also very smart and determined. His experience with flying advanced aircraft gave him the skills to handle the complex and dangerous work of space travel. His career as a pilot laid the foundation for his future mission to the moon. Chapter 3. Becoming an Astronaut. In 1962, Neil Armstrong was selected as one of NASA's astronauts. He became part of the space program at a time when space exploration was still new and exciting. Armstrong underwent rigorous training to prepare for space missions. He had to learn how to operate spacecraft, perform spacewalks, and survive in space. This training was difficult, but Neil was determined to succeed. In 1966, Neil flew on his first space mission aboard Gemini 8. The mission was a success, although it faced many challenges. During the flight, Neil and his co-pilot had to deal with a dangerous problem when the spacecraft began to spin uncontrollably. Armstrong showed great skill and quick thinking to bring the spacecraft back under control. This successful mission helped Neil gain the experience he needed for future space flights. His success with Gemini 8 earned Neil Armstrong a place on the Apollo 11 mission, the mission that would take him to the moon. The Apollo 11 mission was part of NASA's goal to land humans on the moon and bring them back safely to Earth. Armstrong was now one step closer to fulfilling his dream of exploring space. Chapter 4. Apollo 11 Mission. In July 1969, Neil Armstrong became part of the historic Apollo 11 mission to land on the moon. He was chosen as the commander of the mission. The Apollo 11 spacecraft launched from Earth on July 16, 1969, with Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins aboard. The mission was watched by millions of people around the world who were excited about the possibility of humans landing on the moon. On July 20th, 1969, after a journey of 4 days, Armstrong and Aldrin landed on the moon in the lunar module, named Eagle. Armstrong's famous words as he stepped onto the moon were, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." This moment was a historic achievement, as Armstrong became the first person to walk on the moon. His footsteps on the lunar surface were a symbol of human achievement and the power of space exploration. Neil spent about 2 hours walking on the moon, collecting samples and taking photographs. Meanwhile, Michael Collins remained in orbit around the moon in the command module. After completing their work, Armstrong and Aldrin returned to the lunar module, and they reunited with Collins in the command module before returning to Earth. The Apollo 11 mission was a success and proved that humans could travel to the moon and return safely. Chapter 5. Returning to Earth. After spending about 8 days in space, Neil Armstrong and his fellow astronauts safely returned to Earth on July 24th, 1969. The Apollo 11 spacecraft splashed down in the Pacific Ocean, where the astronauts were picked up by a U.S. Navy ship. The world celebrated their safe return, and Armstrong became a global hero. Armstrong's return to Earth marked the end of his historic moon mission, but it was just the beginning of his fame. He was welcomed by crowds, given many awards, and became a symbol of human achievement. Neil's success on the moon was not just a victory for the United States, but for all of humanity. People around the world were inspired by his courage and the success of the Apollo 11 mission. After returning from the moon, Neil Armstrong retired from NASA in 1971. He chose to live a more private life, avoiding the constant attention and fame that came with being the first person to walk on the moon. Armstrong continued to teach, speak about space exploration, and inspire new generations of scientists and astronauts. Chapter 6. Life after Apollo 11. After retiring from NASA, Neil Armstrong became a professor at the University of Cincinnati, where he taught aerospace engineering. He enjoyed teaching and sharing his knowledge with students. Neil also worked on various projects related to space exploration and served on several committees for the government and NASA. Though he kept a low profile, Armstrong continued to be a respected figure in the space community. He worked on space-related projects and often spoke about the future of space exploration. He believed that the next steps in space exploration would take humans to Mars and beyond. Armstrong remained a strong supporter of space research and technology development. Neil's private life was just as important to him as his public achievements. He was married twice and had 3 children. He enjoyed a quiet life with his family, spending time at his home and pursuing his personal interests. Armstrong's humility and desire to stay out of the spotlight showed that he valued his privacy and personal life as much as his historic achievements. Chapter 7. Recognition and Awards. Throughout his life, Neil Armstrong received numerous awards and honors for his achievements. In 1969, after the successful Apollo 11 mission, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, one of the highest civilian honors in the United States. He was also awarded the Congressional Gold Medal and the NASA Distinguished Service Medal, among many others. Neil Armstrong's legacy as a hero of space exploration grew over time. His role in landing on the moon and his calm leadership during the Apollo 11 mission became an inspiration to many. People around the world admired Armstrong not only for his skills as an astronaut, but also for his modesty and his ability to inspire others to reach for the stars. Despite all the honors and awards he received, Armstrong always remained humble. He often said that he was just one member of a large team that made the Apollo 11 mission possible. He believed that space exploration was a team effort, and he never took full credit for the success of the mission. Armstrong's humility and teamwork were part of what made him such a respected figure in history. Chapter 8: Views on Space Exploration. Neil Armstrong was passionate about the future of space exploration. After his historic mission to the moon, he believed that humanity should continue to explore space and expand beyond Earth. He supported the idea of sending humans to Mars and exploring deeper into our solar system. Armstrong felt that space exploration was essential for the future of humanity. Armstrong often spoke about the importance of science, technology, and education in preparing for future space missions. He believed that the United States and other nations should invest in space programs to inspire future generations of scientists, engineers, and explorers. He also stressed the importance of international cooperation in space exploration. While Armstrong believed in the importance of space exploration, he also believed that the government should prioritize education and innovation. He wanted future generations to continue building on the legacy of the Apollo missions and to continue pushing the boundaries of what is possible in space. Chapter 9: Legacy and Inspiration. Neil Armstrong's legacy is one of courage, innovation, and inspiration. As the first person to walk on the moon, he became a symbol of what humanity can achieve when we work together toward a common goal. His famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," will always be remembered as a symbol of human progress and exploration. Armstrong's achievements inspired countless people around the world to pursue careers in science, technology, and engineering. His legacy continues to inspire new generations of astronauts and space enthusiasts. The Apollo 11 mission and Armstrong's role in it remain a key milestone in human history, showing what can be achieved when people dream big and work together. Armstrong's life and work show the importance of perseverance, hard work, and a willingness to take risks. His courage to explore the unknown, combined with his dedication to learning and growing, continues to inspire people to reach for the stars and push beyond the limits of what is possible. Chapter 10: Final Years and Death. Neil Armstrong passed away on August 25, 2012 at the age of 82, following complications from heart surgery. His death was met with an outpouring of grief and respect from people around the world. Armstrong was mourned by his family, friends, and millions of admirers who remembered his contributions to space exploration and his role in one of the most important events in history. In his final years, Armstrong continued to be an advocate for space exploration and education. He was remembered not just as an astronaut, but as a person who believed in the power of exploration and human potential. His passing marked the end of an era, but his legacy continues to inspire people around the world. Neil Armstrong's life reminds us that one person can make a huge difference in the world. He took humanity to the moon, showed us the possibilities of space, and inspired generations to dream big. His achievements will never be forgotten, and his story will continue to inspire explorers and innovators for years to come.